So we're here today at Marstanningley with Michal and Karolina. We have completed a 6-bedroom HMO and we are going to talk a little bit about the project. So Michal, would you like to introduce the project?
Yes, definitely. So we're in Leeds, Stanningley Road. This is used to be a 3-bedroom terrace house, and now is a 6-bed, 6-bath HMO that we just styled today, and completed the photo shoot with Raquel's help. High level, that's the intro, I guess. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, it was a 3-bedroom house with a very lovely attic that had a very unique feel to it, I have to say. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the attic obviously didn't have any bedrooms up there. We ended up building a dormer. The second floor is now 2 bedrooms. We've got 3 bedrooms on the first floor and 1 bedroom on the ground floor, plus an amazing living room, dining, and kitchen room. That's the intro.
Long story short of the project. So, what made you guys decide to hire Mardesign, and what sort of value do you think that having an interior designer by your side brings to the project?
Maybe I'll start. So we've got this is essentially our first HMO. So we wanted to have someone experienced on board to help us out with the interior design, definitely. But prior to that, with the sort of the architecture part of actually designing an HMO that is going to use the space in the best possible way. So we had the sort of square meters, but it was almost like a blank canvas. This was a very extensive refurb that we did, and Raquel basically planned the entire layout of the property, starting with the ground floor, which is 1 bedroom, and then we have the kitchen dining area. On the second floor, all of the walls are sort of chopped and changed pretty much. Like it was a blank canvas. In order to make sure that the rooms were spacious enough, still work with the location of the windows, and fitting in three bedrooms and 3 bathrooms on that floor. And then obviously the same thing for the loft room, not the loft room, the loft itself, the 2 bedrooms there. So for us, being able to have someone experienced on board to help with that was amazing. Yeah.
I think the other thing is as well, it's for both of us, it's important that things not only are functional first of all, and are comfortable for someone who make it their home, but also look beautiful. And that was another basically major factor in us making the decision on basically going with high-end design and with basically your services, because we knew that from the information that we could see online from your other projects that yes, this is exactly what we are after. We are looking for the same high-end finish.
Yeah, and I guess it's also not only about making things look pretty, but functional, but also having all the lighting layouts and the small power working with the furniture in the rooms. Because if you have someone living, you need to kind of facilitate and make their lives enjoyable in the space that
having one socket in the far end of the room that it's nowhere near the desk or anything, it doesn't really help and make friends with tenants.
Yeah, so definitely, like all the plans that Raquel put together at the sort of early stages of the project were immensely helpful in obviously getting everything built, but just for us to understand where everything is going to be. It was really good to see, and definitely not something we would have been able to figure out on our own in any sort of like planning stages. It would probably be just a builder coming in and saying like, you should have a socket next to the bed, and we would probably just go like, yeah,
Okay.
sounds good. But then, where exactly that socket needs to be, and whether there should be, 2 sockets, or a socket next to the bed and then a socket on the opposite wall, because XYZ and all of that, Raquel sort of planned way ahead of time, just sort of at the planning stages, and it all just made sense. She explained it to us, like where everything needs to be, and it all matched with the furniture that we already had planned for every single room.
I think it also influenced, because although it's our first HMO that we finished, it's actually the second project that has started. And we didn't know you back then, so we went with a different approach. It has informed some of the decisions on the other projects as well, especially like Michal is saying regarding like usability and functionality. But I think it's even our Sparky our electrician was surprised sometimes. Really, so many sockets, so many. Are you sure? Yeah, so they are like the professionals that are actually building it don't really think about the usability and about how people live or could live or use the space, but you do. So it's a completely different approach.
Yeah, but I guess it's also because we are trying to bring to the market HMOs that have this high-end feeling, the hospitality feeling, and I know a lot of sockets happen in the bedrooms, but they all have a purpose and a reason. And it will just make, it will take this HMO to another level, and it won't be comparable to other HMOs in the market. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. And for us, we both care about quality very, very much, and sort of working with you was one of those things. Like we want to build a high quality home for people to live in, and enjoy, and we wanted to deliver that quality product. And so this is a very helpful service that you've provided. So yeah, thank you.
You're more than welcome. It was my pleasure. In terms of, for example, challenges that you think that happen in this project, do you want to talk about a little bit about that?
So I think that the biggest challenge was actually not maybe us working together, but actually us working with other trades. So yeah, I mentioned our electrician. So we have bedroom 1 being basically a prime example, due to some changes, some EPC requirements and stuff. The bedroom came out to be much smaller than anticipated originally.
Yeah, so we insulated it inside basically, so we lost
a fair bit,
a good few centimeters from the internal.
Yeah, a fair bit, but also we also had the wall here. It's not exactly in the space. Yeah, so the partitions slightly different. So that changed the dynamic of the room. So we had to change how the bed is positioned, what furniture at the really late stage. We had to change the lamps as well. So all of that, paint scheme as well. Yes, true, fair point. So lots of stuff that we had to kind of adjust late, but it was not really. It was not really a challenge working with you. It was a challenge that
it was a challenge on the project that Raquel helped to
alleviate. Yes, and
okay, well, there's this thing. Let's work with it and make sure that we still get a nice finish. And that room turned out really nice.
No one would say that happened.
As I'm sure people will see in one of the photos at some point. But we still kept the original concept for the room. It's just that because the room turned out to be a little bit smaller, like we just removed a few items, had to move like how the walls are painted, still the same color scheme, still the same general concept, but
we had to adjust the lighting as well.
Yeah.
So I think, and it's also like something that's definitely for like lesson for us and something to remember, that once everything is up in terms of walls, we need to recheck if everything is still basically balancing out the same way, to maybe just catch it a bit sooner. And either change it at the early stage of the project, not when the bathroom is in already and nothing can be moved, but also see if we need to redesign basically, or like slightly change the basically our original plans sooner, so we are not shocked.
Yeah.
Because it was a shock.
Well, I bet it was. And the thing is that it had a real impact on the layout of the bedroom. So if it was just like 5 centimeters here and there, it would be one thing. But it really quite changed the room. So
we had the sofa on the way already for that room. So
exactly, no more sofa. You have a chair. That's it.
If we're lucky.
Yeah, exactly. If you're lucky. But yeah. And in terms of, for example, having a well-designed property in this area, and if you would compare with other rental properties, do you think that by having design as, your little secret, that will give you an extra uplift on your rent, on your property valuation when the time comes?
100%. So we're aiming for that top end of the market. That's why we wanted to build that quality product in order to get the highest rents in the area, which we will be achieving with this property here. So. Definitely.
Well,
100%.
one of the reasons why we kind of aim at the top of the market is also that it attracts a different type of person, a person that actually wants to make it their home. We are not about having people who sleep here. We are about having people who live here. So I think that also the well-designed space makes it easier to achieve that people actually want to stay.
Creating a community as well.
Creating, you cannot really call it co-living because, it's a slightly different thing, but it's us, when we were much younger, we did we live in shared houses as well. And I can imagine, and I remember how badly designed living room kitchens were impacting actually our ability to actually bond with the people that we were living and actually enjoy the space that we were living in. Yeah,
because there is first of all there is space here, so we didn't try and cram in an extra bedroom just because we had enough windows or something like that, or just like make all the rooms like 6.5 meters or something. We want the people living here to have a good place to live and make it nicer for them and sort of not feel like they can't invite their friends or something, and just like have a nice place to
I suppose that also it will bring you like better quality tenants, longer tenancies as well.
Yeah, that's true. For sure. Yeah,
it's obviously like HMOs are people live shorter in HMOs than they do in like
usually,
single lets
more
usually, but I don't imagine someone moving into a nice place like this is gonna want to run after a few months.
No, definitely. I think the choice is which room to pick. That's going to be the difficult choice. So
I actually wanted to add that even stuff like we made a conscious decision not putting any washing machines in the kitchen in the living room area, which is quite unusual, and the plumber was actually quite surprised, like, why you've got enough space here. First of all, it's the space that the tenants can use, but also it's taken away the noise and the basically ability to enjoy the space is completely taken away, and the costs will pay off. Yes, of basically moving it to the basement, because people can enjoy this space and can actually call it their home.
And I think also, by having a really well presented HMO, you guys can also use this as, showcasing for if you have other investors coming on board, for your spare rooms and all of that, all your marketing material, social media. Yeah.
It was definitely a long run up to today. So now with all the photos and the videos that we'll have sort of coming out of today's sessions, let's call them, it's going to be super useful for our social media to get that up and running. I think we're not
no excuses now.
We're not the best so far at running our Instagram account.
Priorities,
but,
we have to finish the project.
now that there's some great content, there's like you say, no more excuses to actually there's gonna be plenty of photos and videos to
so
make
far
those,
we had plenty of photos and videos of stuff being in a complete derelict state and building sites and stuff like that, but now it's actually came along really nicely.
And how was the experience of working with Mardesign?
You are a hoot. No, it was amazing. I knew that we had sometimes basically pretty basic questions, not being able to use Drive properly and look at the basically plans and how they are called, the elevations. Yes, elevations. So it was really great to know that you're there and you're able to pick up the phone and basically on the other end and just explain and be patient with, okay, yes, this is there, and yes, this is the paint, and yes, this is the color, and stuff like that. So it was really great because sometimes, it was our first project in the end, because the other project that started a bit sooner, it was much bigger and was not going as fast as this one. So all of the kind of firsts were pretty much on this basically with you. So it was really great to have that helping hand.
It was really good. Zoom, WhatsApp. We had a bunch of meetings and then sort of ongoing conversations over WhatsApp. Really good communication. Really good working with you. Yeah.
Cool. Do you think that the whole process kind of also took a bit of the overwhelm that investors sometimes feel, because they don't know where to start, they don't know what to do, they kind of go like, oh my god, I have a property and now?
Definitely. We probably struggled with starting our basically property journey. We thought about investing in not just buy to let much earlier than basically we actually bought this property, but that was one of the reasons that we didn't know where to start, and having basically looking at people who are doing it and recommending and kind of using your services. Okay, this is someone who can help us. Let's see how we can use it to our advantage.
Because HMOs are obviously much more complicated than your vanilla buy-to-let, let's call it. Obviously, once you've done one or two, you've probably gone through a lot of the things that probably first time HMO investors kind of maybe feels overwhelming because you just haven't done it. But then on the design and architecture side, I think every single project after the first one still needs all those elements. It's definitely helpful. But especially for the first one, if someone hasn't done it, then that's super helpful.
Having someone who, as I said, you can just call and ask, what should we do? What's the best option? Do you know anyone that actually can maybe knows about this stuff? It's just useful in general, because obviously your network is much bigger because you're working with more investors. So we can actually just draw on not only your knowledge, your direct knowledge, but also on your extended network knowledge. Which is sorry, but that's the case.
No, it's okay.
That's the way it is.
No, and it is as it should be, because a good designer, we have the obligation to share our network, our knowledge as much as possible. There's no, a good design is not just in paper. It's from day one when you start to hold the hand of the client until you deliver the finished product, as how we did it today. So there is no cutting corners. If you want a good service with good designers, it has to be like that. So
and it turned out amazing.
Amazing.
Best HMO ever. Yes. Right?
For me, yes.
No, it is a very good one. It's a
I don't
beautiful
know if you've done nicer ones, but we certainly love this one.
Beautiful project, and I think having you guys as clients was an absolute pleasure working with, because everything that I said, you were like, okay, let's do this. And it was like, okay, one question or two, but not like, no. It was really like, I'm totally on board. And it's difficult for people sometimes to trust your designer, which is a bit of a cliche here, but you kind of need to really trust, and because we see things in different ways and we can see all of it together. It's like when we were looking at the artwork and you were saying so many artworks, where is this?
I had no idea. Like, I was like, where is
and
she
I'm like,
planning
there's
to
a plan, there's a plan.
put it, like, where there's no wall space that we were going to basically put it on. But it's like, okay, let's order, let's just make sure that I don't have to sell a kidney for that, but let's order, and Raquel has a plan.
Turns out there was enough wall space, and it all had
But
a
also,
space,
I remember as we were saying, basically planning, and we were talking about the floor options, and you know that we were like considering both the carpets and the panels, like laminate flooring. And everyone was saying, no, don't do the laminate flooring. We wanted to try it. And we wanted to basically make sure that we have a proof of concept here. And your advice was, yes, go for it. This is much better finish, high end, and so on. And having your reassurance, because everyone that does property said, no, don't do it, because this is not, nobody does that. It's like, exactly, we are not doing what everyone does. We are doing what basically is going to set apart this property from everything else.
Exactly. And I think you did very well.
Yeah,
it looks amazing.
Really, really lovely floors and lovely.
So now, moment of truth. Oh my goodness! I hope you're not going to run away, but yeah, let's try this. So, would you work with Mardesign again, and why? If that's the case, of course.
So it's not. It shouldn't be a big secret to you, but we know that next project we definitely are looking at basically working with you again, because we have enjoyed it. We can see the value. And we can basically appreciate all the help, and it's the look and finish, and it's the high end results that we were after, and we have achieved that with you. And I'm not sure if we could achieve that just between the two of us, So why not? Yes, why not? Although I want to joke and say, really, just run away from her. but we probably are going to stick around for a bit.
Good.
Yeah, definitely. Well, everything that we just talked about, like what we found useful, like that's still going to apply in the second one. Like it's just like. We now have for the future projects, we have the understanding of like what's actually involved and what's going to happen, rather than kind of going blindly. But we still need help with all those steps that are going to be happening.
We can preempt some of the little things that came up and maybe act sooner. Maybe the trades that we hired, some of them. Assumption is that they should understand that this is middle of the wall means this rather than something else, but we can then kind of really tighten up the process and basically from the beginning. And as we chatted up before we started, definitely start with the project and with planning before the builders basically start the work, because that's what was not possible at this project, and we could see the consequences of that across the project on few steps. So we would have had not maybe easier job, because everything we still were able to solve everything relatively quickly, but maybe avoid and not delay stuff. Like, for example, staircase or something, we had to wait because we didn't really plan it properly, we didn't think about it. So maybe we could shave off a couple of weeks here and there with some of the stuff that came up.
Next project.
Next project will be like 5 minutes done.
I'm done.
Well,
let's see.
you could dream.
Maybe we're just going to be painting, decorating, and that's it.
Yeah, like I say, good dream.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for answering all my questions.
Yeah, and thank you for your help with this. Like we 100% literally wouldn't be able to get to this point without you.
No, thank you so much, guys. Really, thank you.